Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And my God, I could do an entire channel on these nonprofit schemes that have been allegedly taking place. And now the IRS and the feds, the FBI, are going after many of these fake shell companies. I do believe that due to the precipitation of this high number of nonprofit leaders that are getting in trouble, I think it was precipitated by the PPP scams that that took place during the pandemic scenario, where the government was trying to help small businesses out. And of course, many people took advantage of that. And that was a few years ago. And now the IRS and the feds are coming around and hunting down and auditing these companies that were shell companies and fake companies. And of course, if you're receiving state and federal funds, federal charges will come about. So I think at the rise of these PPP schemes, they also are looking at nonprofits. And of course, nonprofits have been around a long time, but I think sometimes people's egregiousness and greediness, they forget when you're getting this federal money, there's going to be a federal audit at some point. And you need to make sure that you've dotted every I and crossed every T. And but there are some companies, some nonprofits, and I think it's a little bit ironic, who allegedly claim that they are trying to either help poor, disadvantaged kids, disabled, intellectually or physically disabled individuals. So there's a need basis there, and there's a certain level of caring, because of course we care about our kids and we care about people that need help, and also the elderly. So when you have a nonprofit that's not doing the right thing under the auspices that is helping the most disadvantaged, that sheds a light, and it dims the light of someone that you think is trying to do good, but is diametrically doing the opposite. And here's a case that, through these allegations, that's what it seems to be. Taking advantage of poor kids, getting the federal money, and then using the money for personal greediness. So let's go. Nonprofit leaders accused of stealing more than $7 million that was supposed to feed low-income kids in Missouri. Listen to this story. A couple who ran a St. Louis area nonprofit is accused of stealing more than $7 million that was supposed to help feed low-income children in Missouri. De'Ara Williams, 30, and Nicholas Warford, 31, of Edwardsville, were indicted in late February with 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, 6 counts of wire fraud, 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering, and 1 count of obstruction of an official proceeding. According to the indictment, the couple defrauded Missouri's at-risk after-school program and summer food service program. Now that's very important, because a lot of these low-income kids sometimes they're going to school to learn, but that may be their only meal. And then remember, when school is out in the summertime, if that's their only meal during the school year, what are those kids going to do during the summer? So these summer programs are very important, not only for nurturing their intellectual, physical developments, but also for nourishment. So to set up a company where you're supposed to be helping these kids and then allegedly not doing it at all, I think is just terrible and callous. Williams ran a nonprofit called the Bailey Foundation, which allegedly fraudulently claimed it served more than 2.2 million meals. The indictment alleges Williams and Warford laundered the meal money through Warford's Classic Catering LLC by creating fake invoices that showed meal purchases that were never made. The scheme allegedly lasted from March 2020 through July 2022. That also shows you that the IRS and the feds, they're not waiting 5 and 10 years for you to get away with these allegations or this alleged corruption. They're going after you right away. And I think that what opened Pandora's box in these situations and these auditing is the PPP scenario. The indictment states that William and Warford used the money to buy. Now listen to what they allegedly made purchases with the money and not feeding these low-income children. They bought a $1.4 million house in Edwardsville, even though their company was in Missouri, Edwardsville, Illinois. They bought a 2018 Lincoln Navigator, a 2019 Ram 1500 Rebel pickup, a 2011 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, a 2017 Chrysler Pacifica, and two 2021 Ram ProMaster vans. They also allegedly spent more than $50,000 in school tuition payments, evidently for kids, I guess, their kids, $460,000 on Warford's mother, almost $500,000, $140,000 on vacations, and $100,000 on things for their new home in Edwardsville. According to the indictment, the couple said they spent the money to feed children and told the IRS their spending represented legitimate business expenses of Warford's catering company. The indictment seeks the forfeiture of the couple's home and vehicles. That is a lot going on. We're talking $7 million. Do you know how many kids could have benefited from those meals? That's a lot of meals that should have been paid for and distributed to these low-income children. Of course, I hope that this is not true. But if it is, you know the IRS and there's going to be multiple alphabet departments of the government that are going to go after this couple. It's not just the feds. The IRS is also going to be involved in it, and they are going to be hit with a plethora of crimes. As I said to you earlier, you're talking about wire fraud, 6 counts of wire fraud, one count of committing money laundering, obstruction of an official proceeding. These are very, very serious crimes, serious charges, and the government is probably going to make an example of these two folks. And they're just in the beginning of their life. Miss Williams is 30 years old, and Mr. Nicholas Warford is 31. $7 million is a lot of money. They could have went to helping a lot of children. Like as I said, that in many cases, their only meal is what they eat for breakfast and lunch at school. And then in the summer, if they're not going to some kind of summer camp or some kind of summer program, while their mothers or while their parents are making minimum wage or working at minimum wage jobs, just trying to pay the bills. Sometimes these programs are the only meal that these kids will get. That is a real reality. So for someone to take advantage of this scenario, and of course the government, I would presume, wants to help and feed these children, so you're in a position where you can get a lot of money if you're doing the right thing. $7 million is a lot if they have schemed this kind of this large amount of money off the U.S. government, and it did not go to these kids in need. This couple is in a lot of trouble, and they cannot plead ignorance if you're consciously falsifying documents that can be ascertained that you didn't do any of the work that was necessary to receive these funds. This young couple, 30 years old and 31 years old, will possibly be looking at some prison time. Tell me what you think of this sad story of another nonprofit organization that allegedly has been taking advantage of the disadvantaged, reaping millions of dollars and not utilizing those funds in the appropriate manner. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth in a positive, righteous, and God-fearing way.